n8n has just added a native Google Gemini integration in their latest version, so now it's much easier to use all of Google's AI models. And the crazy part is, most of the nodes that you can see here on the screen you can use completely for free. In this video, I'll give you an overview of all of the important functionalities. I'll show you how to set this up, how you can get your API key, and then later how and to what extent you can use it completely for free. Before you start to use these nodes, you have to make sure that you're on version 1.103 or higher. If you're on the cloud version, you can click here on Admin Panel, then on Manage, and then here you can change your version to 1.103 or higher than that. Then you click on Save Changes and then your workspace will be updated. If you are on the self-hosted version, you have to update your instance, your self-hosted instance accordingly, also to 1.103 or higher. Once you've updated, you can then find the Google Gemini nodes in the Nodes panel by searching Gemini. And here it is, Google Gemini. And you can see there are tons of different really interesting actions. For example, you have the classical AI prompt, text action, message a model, similar to what you know from the OpenAI node. But we also have something here called generate a video. We can analyze a PDF document, or one of my favorites, transcribe a recording. So there's lots of things that you can do here. Let's start with the message a model node. So I'm going to add this to the automation. And this is your classical AI text prompt like you know it from ChatGPT or the OpenAI nodes in n8n. The first thing that we have to do is we have to connect n8n to the Google account. And the way we do that is we click here and then click on Create New Credential. And then it says we have to fill out an API key. Now, where do you get that API key from? You get it from the website aistudio.google.com. There you have to sign in with your Google account. And up here, you can click on Get API Key, which will redirect you to this page. And then you can click this blue button, Create API Key. Now, there are two things that can happen now. Either you immediately get presented with your API key and you can copy that, or like in my case, I already have some Google Cloud projects. In this case, I have to select any of my existing cloud project, doesn't really matter which one, and then click on Create API Key in existing project. And then it says API key generated and I can copy it. I go back to n8n and paste this here, API key, click on Save, and now it says connection tested successfully. So now we can use all of the Gemini models. Let's start by filling this out. The resource is text, operation, message a model, and here we can choose a model. And you can see I have access to all models here, even the very best ones. So right now the best one is 2.5 Pro, Gemini 2.5 Pro, and I can just use that here for free. And in a minute, I'll talk about how you can use it for free and what you have to watch out for when doing that. Then here we can fill out a prompt. Okay, I've prepared a small mini prompt to create a controversial social media post. Let's execute this just for test purposes. And now we get a response here. Unpopular opinion, most marketing gurus are frauds. They got lucky with one campaign back in the early 2010s when everything was easier. Okay, and so on and so forth. So you see this works as expected. Also down here you have the option to add messages as part of the prompt. And down here we can add some parameters. For example, a system prompt we can add here, like you know from other API providers. Okay, let's look at a couple of available nodes and talk about which ones are free and not. You always will have to add your credit card and upgrade to a paid account on Google Gemini if you want to generate videos and generate an image. So you are not going to be able to do that on the free plan. However, things like messaging a model, transcribing a recording, or analyzing a document, and thus also using the Gemini model as a tool of your AI agents, all of that you can do completely for free. On Google's website, on the Gemini API documentation, they have listed all of the different tiers and the limits. So for example, with the free tier, what you can do is you can use Google's best model, Gemini 2.5 Pro, 5 times per minute with 250,000 tokens per minute and 100 times per day maximum. The Gemini 2.5 Flash model, 10 times per minute, 250 times per day maximum. So this means the free tier is really good for your personal marketing automations or things that do not require a huge amount of input and do not have to run at a very high frequency. Also, you shouldn't use the free tier with automations where other people have access to run the automation, like some public automation or some backend of some software that you're building, because then I think you would pretty soon break out of the free tier. But other than that, I think it's really cool that Google offers this at the moment. If you're interested in a more detailed tutorial about all these different nodes, then subscribe to this YouTube channel, because soon I will release a video about exactly this topic. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike. Have a great day. Bye.